Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we talk about all things Marvel Crisis Protocol and review a different character every week. I'm your host, Jared.
I'm Brad.
I'm Fred.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm on week 2 of not having any segues, so yeah. So welcome to the cast. We did get another request, this time to do Beast. So I don't know what else to say other than get fucked Human Torch. We will probably do him here soon. But
We'll get him.
we got a
We'll get him.
request, and we're men of the people, so we're gonna take a look at him. Um, yeah. How are you guys doing? You guys doing all right? You had a good week?
I
I'm
had
doing
a pretty
fine.
shitty week.
We're doing fine and shitty. What about you, Brandon?
Probably right there in the middle.
In the middle. All right.
I'm always leaning a little bit towards Brad more so than Fred.
Oh,
I
I've been
take
sick
Fred's
all week.
I gotta pull down Fred's positive energy.
And I'm feeling fine, guys. How's everyone else?
I'm with you, Fred. I'm feeling pretty good. So we're a nice half and half. Um, yeah. This week again we're gonna be talking about Beast. So shout out to Tim for suggesting that we look at Beast this week. I also have another
Okay.
shout out. I want to give a big shout out to Les Smartnick, who is a player not from our area, but he's from one of the nearby areas where we play. And he made a suggestion, not a suggestion, but he brought up the fact that when we talked about Red Skull's card, um, shit, what's the name of it now? What's the one? High Council, right? Is that it? The one that has all the criteria?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. He made the point that you can use regular 4-point skull, which I don't know if I called that out or not. I think I said like Johann Schmidt, but I didn't actually
Oh.
clarify that you could use it with 4 or 5-point red skull. So you can take him if you want in Hydra and take both skulls and then use that card and play it. So I think I left that out. So thank you, Les, for that comment. Going on to news and announcements. Second Wind, once again, is coming up soon. I believe, at least I got a refund, so I know that my spot got filled. And then you said your spot got filled, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Yep. So you got a little bit of time left. I'm sure there's probably going to be some last minute drops, so get in there while you can. October 22nd at Booker Games. I think that's in Ohio. The check-in is at 11:30, dice off at 12, and that is a $10 entry fee. And I don't think I have any others unless I'm missing something.
That's the only ones I know of.
Okay. So, if you want your tournament to be shouted out, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with words. I'm all scrambled. My wife's got the temperature in this house at like 102, so I'm burning the hell up. Maybe that's what it is. If you want your tournament to be plugged on the podcast, feel free to give us a shout. My name is Sev on the Discord server, so you can just message me there anytime. Or you can reach out to us at crithitwild@gmail.com. So just let us know with the info, and I'll be sure to put it in the show. You know? Bro.
We'll get you taken care of, everybody. We'll get your information out there for all of our millions of listeners, for
Our tens of
vast,
listeners.
our vast listening audience.
Brad's-
We'll all hear about your tournaments.
Brad's saying tens of listeners, and you're saying millions. I feel like one of you's lying. I just don't know which one.
It's definitely Brad.
It's 100% Brad.
We are an enormous cultural influence upon this world.
Let's see. Other news and announcements. We did get. We did not. I should have pulled up the picture, but we did get the models, like painted models, that they put a little teaser out for Blob and Pyro. We don't have a card yet, but usually when they start doing that, we'll see a card within a couple weeks. So hopefully.
They're not coming out till December. We may not get a card for a while.
Yeah, but usually when they spoil, like they start plugging the stuff for like pre-orders or whatever, they usually just put the card out like a couple weeks after, right?
Let's hope.
I think they will.
If they drop these two, that's 2 more people to do instead of Human Torch.
That is true. So come on, AMG, give us. But they did leak the rest of the. I don't know if these are all the Sentinel cards. So these are 3 cards that come in uh, the regular Mark 4 packs. I'm surprised that we don't have an affiliation because I was for certain that it was confirmed that Cassandra Nova was going to get a leadership for this, and I thought it was going to come in the form of a card. But everything that I see right now does not show a leadership card. But we can go ahead and take a
Hey,
look.
Maybe it'll come in the
Jared,
form of a good model.
I can't see your screen. How are you bringing these cards up? Are you using Cerebro?
Oh, I am. I'm using CerebroMCP.com.
Okay. Do me a favor. Go to Browse and hit Tactics.
Browse. Tactics.
And then go down and find the card. You'll notice when you see one.
Oh my
Are there
goodness!
tags?
It's a new tag on the cards. So as I scroll down, they'll now say new if they've just put in the Cerebro, just been released. Wow,
Yeah,
Brad, that's
it'll
so
say
cool.
that. Yeah, it'll say that for 14 days. And then the new tag will automatically disappear. And I don't have to do any work. I put them in just like I normally do. The new tag shows up for 14 days and then disappears. No extra work for me. Yay.
What a rollicking piece of technology.
Wow, thank you, Brad. It's like we planned that we were going to do this all along, but really, what the
No,
listeners
we
don't
did
know is we
not.
didn't. So, yeah, but that is well, I mean that kind of ruins a little bit of Cerebro news and announcements, but
That's all right. I did lots of updates
I
this
like
week.
the
So
segue, yeah. But yeah, so if there are new cards that have been updated in Cerebro, so usually whenever you open up Cerebro, if it's up to date, you'll see a change log. If you see a more recent change log and something's been added, it should have this new tag beside it. As far as any.
no, those things won't show up on the
Oh, they won't.
change log.
No, well, no. I'm saying if it shows where you've put cards in the change log, right? Then they should have this new tag whenever you
No,
go.
I don't put cards in the change log.
Ah,
I can do that on the database end without updating the app.
I see.
So, and they will show up, like, even if you're looking at an old version of Cerebro, as long as it's after the new tag thing was added, they'll show up as new.
I know that you put an update when you add the cards to Cerebro in the Discord, so I thought it went up on here.
Yeah,
too.
that's just
For us,
you
though.
guys.
Oh,
Well,
so nice.
I also put that same message in the TTS like Cerebro section. That's just so people know that they can go there and get them now. They can build lists with them and stuff.
Okay, so slight change. If you see it popped in on the TTS Discord, you'll now find them with the new tag underneath there. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look at the first card, which is Directive 1. It's Sentinels, and it's reactive. During the power phase, allied Sentinel characters may each spend 1 power. If at least 2 power was spent this way, you may play this card. So keep in mind, in the power phase, all they need is 2 power. You just need 2 Sentinels to spend a power piece, and you're good to go.
Or a Sentinel and a character with Under the Skin.
Ah, yes.
Or Cassandra Nova.
Or Cassandra.
Right.
Yeah.
An enormously small benefit to Under the Skin.
Yeah. Hey, it's still another benefit, right? Until the end of this round, enemy characters do not benefit from the stealth superpower and cannot reroll or modify defense dice. Additionally, allied characters do not require line of sight to target enemy characters with attacks until the end of this round. That
fucked Web Warriors.
Is an insane effect. It is so good and it's so cheap.
Yeah,
it's fucked Web Warriors.
Yeah, holy moly. They were already good against Web Warriors, and now it's just like, holy crap.
I love how much better they are against Web Warriors than they are against X-Men.
So I do want to point out that like all of Sentinel's attacks are range 3, so you're gonna have to be in stealth range anyways to shoot them. So for the Sentinels as much, it doesn't matter. But if you're taking like Cassandra Nova, or
an Under the Skin,
or
Winter
well, I think it's just Sentinel characters have to play it, but it just affects the all the allies get it. So your splash characters and stuff are going to benefit from this, but just as far as like Sentinels go, so as far as like affiliated models, it really is just going to impact somebody with Under Your Skin or like somebody like Cassandra Nova. But the not being able to modify a defense dice is That's insane.
That's enormous.
And also, not needing line of sight to target people is also crazy. Like, if you play any amount of Hawkeye, it's actually just, like, really good. So, this is a super good card and probably an auto include. What do you think, Brandon?
Did we lose Brandon?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I had my mic muted because of who I am as a human being, apparently.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I'm getting. We're talking about the stealth card, right?
Yeah, the one that
Just
ignores
to make
stealth.
sure I didn't miss anything.
Yep.
And not crazy and going crazy. No, I think this one's. I think this was good. I think you're probably taking it. I do. I think it does like you have to be playing the Sentinels affiliation. I think I've talked about a couple times. I like them being splashed. More so, I think I like them in their own affiliation because I don't think Casino Nova's a very good model. But I think if that's definitely the way you want to go and playing, 3 Sentinels and a couple other things, I think this card's probably going to be. I don't know. I know you mentioned it was an auto include. I don't know if it's an auto include.
So,
Because
not
there are
auto.
matchups that
Yeah.
I don't think
Auto
it goes
in the
very well.
10.
Auto in the 10. I should clarify.
Oh,
Auto in the 10, not in a 5.
okay, well, if you spoke correctly, we wouldn't have this conversation. But here we are.
No, you're good. You caught me. You caught me up. I need to clarify a bit.
Yeah, I think it's always in your 10. I think it's situationally in your 5. I don't think you're starting your opening 5 with this, like no matter what. But I think there are matchups you probably are. Like, if you're playing in our local scene and you're playing against Andrew, you're probably putting it in your 5 without seeing anything else, and just
If you see,
going for it.
oh God, I'm blanking on the name.
CJ,
No,
I
I
got
was
nothing
thinking,
else.
Shadowland Daredevil. Goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah. They take a lot of stealth. They take a lot of stealth.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
But
they really
again,
do.
if you're playing like you have to be playing the Sentinels, so you're probably playing 3 Sentinels, so most of your attacks aren't outside of stealth anyway, and you're probably not going to have a lot of room for a lot of other characters if you're playing that affiliation. So that's
Yeah,
my
I think
only.
I think you take it when you don't want them to reroll dice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
Yeah, I
also
think
really good. It's really
that's
good
going to be the.
against Storm too, because you can't switch your dice for cover.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? It doesn't let
yeah,
you
you
switch your
can't
dice for cover?
modify.
No, that's a modify.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a sneaky part of this card that I think is the most
Yeah.
important is that cannot reroll or modify defense dice.
Yep.
Before we go into the next card,
Mhm.
is the CP number at the bottom on the screen?
Oh, yeah. So CP51 Sentinels Mark IV with the X symbol.
Yeah, I added a little symbol, so next time they rotate, we'll know what's rotating out.
Look at you doing the
Nice.
Lord's work. All right, let's take a look at Efficient Machines. This is Sentinels. It's reactive. During the power phase, an allied Cassandra Nova may spend 3 power to play this card. Until the end of this round, allied Sentinels characters within 3 of Cassandra Nova treat shields as wilds.
I'll go first. Let me do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't need any of Fred's fake positivity on this. This card's bad, all right? This card is not good. I do not think you should play this card. If you're playing this card, you have to be Sentinels affiliated. You're already at a super high level because you're playing Sentinels and Cassandra Nova. This card is not good. All right, it's just not good.
Go ahead, Fred. Hit us with it.
I agree with Brandon.
Oh!
What happened? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it does put essentially 2 wilds on the dice instead of just 1 for wild triggers. But I mean, it's such a small effect, and this is one of your cards, and so, I mean,
The only wild trigger they have is suppression, right?
Yeah, I can put out like 3 or 4 different status effects.
So you can put out incinerate, shock, and slow.
But it also
And
counts.
those are all on spenders. They're not on your builder. So you're spending power to attack, and then you're spending 3 power to possibly get shields.
yeah, it's such a like so expensive for such a small effect. Like I'm
I
not.
hope you all get wrecked by this card.
Yeah, I probably will.
What
I
do
get
you
wrecked by any fucking card. That doesn't change my opinion.
What do you think, Brad?
I think it's fine. Like I wouldn't scoff if you played it, but there are probably better choices.
So it says allied Sentinels characters within 3 of Cassandra Nova. So
It counts her.
it counts her. She has wild stat
counts-
power. She has also explosive, I think, on
And it
another one
might
of her
be
attacks.
broken on Under the Skin model.
Hey, put Under the Skin on Wolverine and then play this card.
Holy shit, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Count your wilds as doubles.
I like that.
You know?
Okay.
Because he never rolls wilds on that charge, but he may roll some blocks.
Yep. Is there any other?
I
So-
believe that Doc Ock does doubles on wilds.
Oh, the Doc Ock also does, doubles on wilds. So that
And
Yeah.
that's a 3-point model and a 4-point model, which sounds real good for list building.
Actually does.
Doesn't sound real good when you have to have at this point. You would have to have 14 power of affiliation just on Sentinels and Cassandra Nova.
depends.
you gotta have
No,
five
you
and
don't have to
Nova,
play
so you
all
have
3
10.
Sentinels.
You have to play
Yeah.
3 to keep your affiliation.
She's
this scenario.
affiliated.
I know.
He's
That's
saying,
5 points.
yeah, he's
and
saying
you have
that she's
another one at
5.
5 points.
The prime is 5 at 10, and then one mark for
Oh,
is
yeah,
14.
okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
yeah.
I wasn't actually doing the math.
I
You're
think
right.
that I
The
do
math
think
teacher's not doing the math. That's my job.
I think that this card is probably more cute than it is good, but
Yeah.
I do
The
think
art is
that
sweet.
the art is
If
sweet.
if anyone's looked at the art on the card is sweet.
You could take Carol Danvers because the shields it just counts for any rolls, not.
You've
Oh,
got 3
holy shit! Hold
primes
on.
and-
There. So this actually works. Okay, so this actually works for it can work for characters where wilds count double, right? But this works for anything. It just says you treat shields as wilds, which actually benefits you on pay to flips when you need more successes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that actually gives you a little
It
bit
would
more
also
scenario.
work on counterattacks.
It would work on counterattacks. It would work on things like Carol Danvers, who treats wilds. It's like she gets
These are all nice. These are all
they're all niche though. But I do like
neat.
yeah, I do like the ability what it gives you for scenario, as far as flipping stuff when you need more
Yeah.
successes. So
Also great on rogue.
that's actually really good on sword too, right? When you do the 50-50.
It's not a 50-50 anymore.
It's not a 50-50 anymore. So okay, that maybe ups it a little bit more. I don't know. It could make a 10. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
just
it
trash.
ups it from a definitely don't bring to a I'll contemplate it for a second. before I
It takes
say
it
no.
from you don't have to throw it away when you buy the box, that you can put it in your binder and never take it out.
All right, let's look at scrap metal. Its Sentinel's reactive when an allied character with the Sentinel programming passive superpower would be KO'd. It may spend 2 power to play this card. Roll 5 dice for each hit, crit, wild result, and all.
Say it right.
Crit hit wild. They put it different. It messed me
There
up.
you
For each crit hit wild result, all other characters within 2 of that character that played this card suffer 1 damage. Additionally, all other characters within 2 of the character that played this card gain the stun special condition, then the character is KO'd. So you go, you KO a Sentinel. They spend 2 power. They're going to have the power because you're KOing them probably. You roll 5 dice. And, I mean, taking damage on crit, hit, and wild is
and blocks if you play efficient
and
machine
and
first.
blocks. It's pretty.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty you're gonna do good damage, and they're on the large base. So, I mean, unless you're this is a card that I don't think is you look at it and it's got some really nifty effects, but you're that's probably not worth it. I think that what this requires your opponent to do though might make it worth it for me, because MCP does have quite a bit of mind game stuff going on, because when you look at somebody's roster before you play in a tournament or something like that, you see that they have two leaders and they're playing two different affiliations, and you're like, well, shit, which one are they going to drop? If I drop this affiliation, So there's a bunch of mind game stuff that sometimes happens with this card. Shield has it with like eyes in the sky, like. So this is for me. This is a card which it just kind of speaks out that like if you position wrong and you go to kill this guy, I'm going to play this. I'm going to do quite a bit of damage to your team, and they're going to get stunned. So I think the effect is kind of hard to pull off, but I think it will force your opponent to make interesting choices with their placement. But that's just me. Somebody else. I spoke long enough. Somebody else is gonna take
Yeah,
this one.
like I could see a scenario where your opponent's like, I don't know if I should kill this Sentinel right now, and then you flip it back to the healthy side.
Yep.
Or they kill it and take a bunch of damage, even though that's not optimal, because they don't want you to then flip it to the healthy side. Like those two cards interact really well and put your opponent in a tough position.
Yep. What about you, Fred?
Uh, I don't like anything that triggers off of one of my guys dying, and it's on a KO, so I'm taking something off the field. I mean, it's nice and it is a really good effect. Like, this could be the difference between you KOing another model or multiple other models just by losing a dude. But also, it could be completely pointless, or you could end up having to choose one of your own people, whom like it might also have Cassandra Nova in there or another Sentinel,
Mm-hmm.
because it isn't enemy models; it's all models.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, it's nice, and it's a good effect, and it's a better card than the last one in my opinion. But I'm not jazzed about it.
Good, Brandon. What do you think?
This card's bad too. Uh, this card is so this is like, and I say that as like I could never play this card because I would kill my own model with it. That's exactly what would happen if I fucking play this card. I know what would happen. I understand what would happen. I think the Sentinels are always going to be pretty close together. I don't think you're going to be. I don't think there's going to be many scenarios they really want to play where they're too far apart. Um, so I think you're going to have a hard time doing this and not hitting one of your only Sentinels or one of your other models. Um, but I could be wrong. There's, like I said, you can play different scenarios, but I think a lot of times they're going to want to be playing those down the center scenarios, and where they are on a large base, that does give them more room. There are going to be scenarios where this comes up, and it's probably great. So I don't think it's like my bad on this is just because I couldn't play this because I would roll 5 successes, deal 5 damage, and then kill one of my own models, and now 2 of my models are dead, and it's just whatever. But I think I mean, it's whatever. I don't think there's a lot of times you're going to play it again. It has to be affiliated with Sentinels. Um, I thought this one for the longest time wasn't. I thought it was going to be I thought it was unaffiliated. Uh, which is, that's on me. I just didn't read well enough. Um, but I mean, I think it's fine. I don't know how often you're actually going to play this card in your 5.
That's fair.
Uh,
I don't know. I think that they did an alright job where like all the cards are, well, at least for me personally, all the cards are at least interesting enough to where like I feel like they could probably make the 10 because I'm gonna have like 2 restricted, and then
I
I
think
gotta
there
fill
are
it.
a lot more matchups for this card to be situationally like there are matchups where like when you're playing lineups that are going to go super wide like Guardians of the Galaxy where you might be able to hit 2 or 3 characters
Yeah.
of theirs, so it might not be as detrimental if you hit one of yours. But again, if you hit like 5 damage, yeah, you might be able to nuke 2 of theirs, but one of yours dying and then one of your other ones dying, like that's you probably already at a deficit on models,
Well,
so
just don't put your guy within 2.
yeah, I'm not good at this game though, so like I would end up I, like I just like that's what I know. I 100% know that's what would happen. I'd be barely out of 2. I would mentally think I'm out of 2, and then I would nuke my own model.
All right.
I would do that too, Brandon. I would 100% do that.
Right? Like I just I do think it's a fun card. Like I think it's one of the. I think it's also like I agree with the mind game. Like you could just take that in your 5. You don't have a 5th card. Like even if you never play it, you're gonna make people think. Um, but it's not as common anymore as it was once in this game. There's a lot more ranged attacks um, than there used to be. There's not a ton, and like some of the models that get up in your face, like the Hulks and like Malekith and stuff, like they're probably. I mean, it's gonna be nice to get extra damage on, but they've probably already done their damage.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Cerebro announcements. So what do you have, Brad?
Well, the first thing is since I announced in the last episode that I was doing that goal, $100 a month, and Cerebro goes on the App Store. We're now over a third of the way to that goal, so that's pretty cool. Next, I fixed a problem where rogue agents weren't counting properly in lists that didn't have a leader. That's fixed now. And you can now, on the breakdown page, you can filter it to force a affiliation. So if you have multiple affiliations, you know you want to play this affiliation, and it has multiple leaders, you can look at all the options for that affiliation. I figure people find that handy. I added the symbols to the Tactics, Crisis, and Gem cards. You guys, if you're watching the YouTube video, you saw that. If you're not watching the YouTube video, just click on one of those on any of the places where you can click on them and see the card. And on the bottom, you see the little set symbols. It shows you every symbol that they have. On the character, like when you filter by character, it used to be that if you want Hulk in your list, lists with She-Hulk would show up, even if they didn't have Hulk. That no longer happens. If you pick Hulk, it'll have Hulk in your list. So I just made that more precise. And the final update for the week is the new icon. So, like I said, it'll be there for 14 days after I add a card, and then it will go away, and it's nifty. And Brandon asked for that feature on one of our earlier episodes. I finally put it in. So you're welcome, Brandon.
I actually have a new recommendation for you.
Oh, great. Okay. What is it?
This one actually I feel like is super easy.
Well, that one ended up being pretty easy once I figured out how to, do dates.
Now, either a new tag or a filter for new to where you can sort by new.
I knew you were going to ask for that. I knew it. I'll think about it.
And it was funny though because I thought about it and I was like, well, the tags might be annoying because you'd have to like add it then delete it, and I was like, the sort might not be. I was trying to think of how actually easy or convenient it would be.
The sort is easy. It's just where to put it.
Just in the drop down bar with the search, right?
I guess.
Or
what that drop down does is change what you are searching for.
Dude, if you actually just straight up give me a sort option, give me a up there where it says characters, tactics, crisis. Nah, crap. But right beside browse, put sort right there. Click it.
Hey Brad, all this work that you're putting in there, do a lot more of it.
Yeah, for free.
For free.
I have.
Not anymore. You're getting paid, baby.
I've given my hard-earned money for this. I only give recommendations for the channel or for the website app that I believe are beneficial to everybody, and I also try not to make them very hard.
You don't know what's hard and what's easy.
That's not technically true, and you know that.
Because you just went from, I would like to be able to see just the new cards to, how about you give me a really robust search feature?
I know the sort feature would. I have specifically not asked for the sort feature, even though that's exactly what I would want, because I know it would be difficult and very time consuming, and
we'll see.
Would probably possibly break the app a couple times before it actually went through.
I broke the app today when I was adding the new thing because I had to add dates to the database, and apparently JSON can't parse dates from a database, so then I had to go back and change this to text to get everything fixed. But it's all working now. I broke it, and it was only broken less than an hour. But I got an email. Someone emailed me, is like, all my lists are gone. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, sorry, it's fixed now.
All right, let's go on to the Longshanks fact.
Oh, yes, I have that as well. Oh, where is it? Right here. So I'm going to talk about a cool little feature that I don't use as often as I probably should. So if you go in the menu, this is free for everyone. This one I know you don't have to pay for. And you go to Tools and Resources, and you're on Marvel Crisis Protocol. There is under Longshank apps, there's this thing called Battlefield Builder. So as it says here, it generates a randomized battlefield layout complete with terrain suitable for organized play. So it took their guidelines. If you click on it, it gives you the map, and the deployment zones are like kind of grayed out. And it shows you like put a size 1 piece of terrain in these spots, and size 2 in these spots, 3's in these spots, 4 in this spot. And you can hit refresh and get a new layout. And the mat that they're putting the numbers on, it's just kind of random pictures, but it's a pretty neat little thing that takes out some of the bias that people naturally have for placing terrain. Like, place this piece in this general area, and then you're not being biased.
Look at that.
And it makes it very asymmetrical.
That is one of the things I really appreciate about TTS is like you don't really have to think about setting up a map yourself. Like you just click a button, right, and it just makes the map for you. So if
be nice.
If they have if they have something where like you just hit it and it just can like create a map for you, and all you have to do is just put the pieces down. Like that's awesome. I feel like that saves a lot of time.
Sam's out here doing the hard work, making our lives easier, also for free. So maybe you should become a patron of Longshanks, like I am.
And now we're moving on.
Yeah. So this week for the weekly topic, what I have for you guys is other than stagger. So we're gonna just set that one to the side. What is your condition tier list? Like, what do you think are the most vital conditions to put out, and then what do you think are the weakest? So, who would like to start?
Me.
Go ahead.
What were the 3 Sentinels give?
Incinerate,
shock, and stun. Yeah.
The 3 best ones.
3 best ones.
You think those are the 3 best ones?
Yeah. In order: incinerate, then shock, then stun.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Fred?
I think incinerate.
I take that back. Hex is better than stun.
There you go. I'm glad he got there. I was gonna fight him over that one.
I got it.
I'm just gonna keep interrupting.
What
Fred.
about judgment? What about judgment in there? I think incinerate and shock are definitely my top 2. And I like judgment a lot.
That's a hot take.
I do. I think it's really good. It comes up a lot. I think it comes up more often than stun does.
Ironically, I was trying to figure out if judgment was the worst one or not.
Oh no, it's definitely not the worst. Root's the worst.
Yeah. Root?
I would agree that
Poison's the worst.
No, it's not.
Disagree.
Poison comes up every single time, every single round. If they're poisoned, it happens.
Root is better than poison, I think.
I disagree.
Especially
now with poison, where you're even they can keep you at 0 power. Like, yeah.
So what's yours, Brandon? What are your top 3?
Bleed, Hex, and Incinerate.
In that order?
No, the exact opposite order actually. Incinerate, Hex, Bleed.
And then what's your worst one?
Probably Root. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Root.
What's your worst one, Fred? I think Brad said Root, right?
I'm gonna go with Root.
Wow, you guys don't like Root.
So the main reason for me is Root is also one of the least given
Seen
out.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do. I also that's why I think I have Bleed a little bit higher than I do like Shock and Stun. Um, and Judgment, I don't have Judgment that high. Again, the big thing with Judgment is too, there's not many characters that give out Judgment.
Yeah.
Bleed, there's a lot of characters that give out Bleed. Hex is one of those where it's like the worst. The best thing about the defenders is the leadership that give out Hex, and it's just like basically for free gives out Hex. Like Hex is very good.
I'm torn. Like, I think.
But I'm also using the same argument against Judgment and Root as Hex, but whatever. I think Hex has a much more powerful effect than Root and Judgment does.
Hex definitely has a really strong effect. I think maybe my top three are something like. That's tricky. I think it's like Hex. Stun is really, really good.
I think Stun is going to be much more relevant going forward.
Yeah, because I mean, you can only ever get one power, right? So that turns off things like uh, Hulk, like his power generation. It turns off as Guardians. But it's probably Hex Stun, and then I really hate Shock. Like if I see it across the table, I don't like Shock. Bleed's probably up there for me though because it makes your opponent play different if they're gonna kill themselves. So
What about Incinerate?
that's also a good one. Ah shit, I don't
Is
know. I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at this
yeah,
game I made up.
that's the issue here is that these are all situationally super useful. I mean, to put on your opponent, I should say, or really devastating if they're on your people.
I think there's
And it's
definitely
situational.
a top tier and a bottom tier.
I agree.
And the bottom tier, no offense to Fred, is only like Judgment, Root, and possibly Slow.
I mean, okay, so I don't think Judgment is that great. I was thinking it
You
through,
literally
but
just said it was your best one.
no, I did not. I said it was Incinerate Shock.
Ah,
Incinerate
okay.
and
I'm
Shock
sorry.
are
I'm sorry.
definitely
I
my top
misunderstood.
two.
And then
Slow is still really good. It's a little bit more situational. Like Venom gets slow, he don't give a shit. But if you put slow in like Malekith, that's awful.
If
So
you put Judgment on Venom, he
yes.
gives a big old shit.
hey, yeah, Venom does not like Judgment.
Yes,
You're
he
right. Yeah,
does.
that's true.
Yes, he
I
does.
mean, to be fair, though, Slow on Malekith really isn't the end of the world either. Like he's still,
He's such a big base.
he's a
Yeah, that's true.
large base
All
with a
right, let me
small movement, which
Slow
is
on Black Cat.
Black Hat. Yeah, there we go. Or
yeah.
Baron
You
That
Zemo.
slow
sucks.
Black Cat or half the Web Warriors that aren't Venom. Yeah, it's probably not a good time.
All right. Let's go on to talk about our games we played this week. So Brandon and Fred both were unable to show up. Me and Brad, we actually played Infinity this week. So not much Marvel Crisis Protocol getting played, but we did have two other people, Borka and Aaron, who came down to the shop and they played a game of Guardians of the Galaxy with Malekith versus Defenders,
With
and
She-Hulk.
with She-Hulk, yep, as anti-Malekith tech. And Borka still is on his slaughter through our local scene with his Guardians of the Galaxy roster. So congratulations, Borka, for doing it again.
No
With
prisoners.
no prisoners. With that, though, I think we're ready to go on to character reviews. So again, this week we are looking at Beast, aka Henry McCoy. He is 6 stam, a medium mover. He's size 3, coming in at 3 threat. He has a 4 physical, 2 energy, 3 mystic stat line. He has the physical acrobatic strike. It is range 3, 5 dice with the standard power equal to damage dealt. With a wild ambush after this attack is resolved, place this character within 1 of the target character. Note, God damn it. Note! There we go. That if you hit the wild, you have to place. There is no may attached with this, so. His second attack, which is Suspender, is Animalistic Freestyle. It is range 2, 6 dice, coming in at 4 power cost. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains the bleed special condition, so that is free. It has wild float like a. Before damage is dealt, if the target character is size 3 or less, push the target character away short. And it has a free, after this attack is resolved, this character may advance medium. So 2 effects with no triggers and 1 size 3 push. He has the instincts superpower, cost 2, and it is a terrain or character throw that has size 2. Excuse me, golly. And you throw it short, and it can only be used once per round. He has the reactive Stars and Garters. After this character rolls defense or dodge dice, it may spend up to 3 power to use a superpower. For each 1 power spent, this character may reroll one of its defense or dodge dice. He has 2 innate superpowers. He has disconcerting yet provocative. God damn it. Jeez! When this character rolls dice after the effect is resolved, it gains 1 power if it rolled at least 1 skull. And he has Wall Crawler. And then on his injured side, he goes down to 5 stamina. So, yeah. What do we think of Beast? Go ahead, Brad. Take the floor for a minute because I'm going to go get some water.
Well, first of all, they did errata his reroll to happen during the modified dice step, so it's actually useful. I've played a lot of Beast, and since he came out, we'll get into this for the comic section, but I didn't really want to, but I kept having to at first, and now he's like, he doesn't make my list 100% of the time, but when I put him in, he does work. Like, one game, now this is anecdotal and doesn't mean that he's good, but one game he took on the entire Brotherhood basically by himself and survived to get away with the Kree or whatever, and that was fun. That was just good rolling. But he is a good objective runner. His attacks are pretty decent. Very mobile. Defensive rerolls are great. That throw, size 2 throw for 2, that's a pretty good throw. So he's just a solid piece. If he was 4 points, he'd be like the worst character ever. But he's 3, so he's good.
I'm back. Sorry about that. That was like the worst character card read off I've ever done. I don't know what happened. Something got my throat.
Oh, don't be so hard on yourself. You've had worse.
Thank you, Brett. Jeez. All right.
I guess it's not getting any better, huh?
I'm good. I'm trying to fix it. Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh wow. I think I have said numerous times before. I think unfortunately there's a lot more energy attacks coming out that makes Beast a little less likely to play, especially in the worst thing is like 2 of his 3 affiliations have like the most 3-point models. And then if you're playing Inhumans, you should probably just play him because he's probably your best model outside of Medusa in affiliation. Yep, sticking to that.
That's probably accurate. At least in X-Men, even though they have a lot of 3-pointers, they play all of them.
Yeah,
At
you're
least
gonna play
my
most of your
list
3-point. Yeah, I think you're gonna play most of your 3-point models. Avengers just have like every other model in the game that's a good guy, so whatever. I've went on record for a while. I thought for a long time the Beast was one of the most underutilized and underplayed 3-point models. I think he's really good. I think he does a lot on his medium base. And being size 3 comes up.
Oh, especially with the Storm Place.
Yeah, and like I said, the size 3 comes up. Having a throw that's enemy character is really good. It does stink that it's size 2, but it makes sense, and size 2 is still good, and it's only 2 power. The errata to that made that his rerolls a little bit worse, but still good. It's on par with everything else.
What do you mean worse?
Did the errata did it not make it worse?
It made it better. It made it so you can see what
that's
your
right.
opponent
I was reading
rolls
the errata. I was like, this is good.
yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking for some reason it went the other way. And also he also has the ability to get extra power. Wall crawler is relevant. Animalistic freestyle is really good. And it really doesn't need much. Like just that extra move is really good. Yeah, I think Beast is really good. I think the worst part about it is I think he was underplayed for a while, and it's going to be harder to play him going forward with all the energy attacks coming out with Malekith, the Sentinels. I assume Pyro probably have an energy attack.
No, they messed
Nope.
up Cyclops. They'll give him physical attacks.
Yeah, we can't count on anything, so you know.
Maybe Mystic.
Yeah, just give him a couple Mystic moves.
Yeah, I legitimately, you said physical, and I thought that was full of shit. I was like, this guy's even trolling the thing. But we had a comment from one of the viewers, Mitch Cohen, talking about how his eye blast should be able to level mountains and stuff. Is that right? Does that happen, Brad?
They're pretty powerful.
AC even shouted it out. He backed you up in the comments, so thank you, Mitch. But
Yeah.
he shouted it out, saying that it is in
They
fact
are a
physical. So
concussive force and should be physical.
it's bullshit. All right, Fred, what do you think about Old Beast?
I think he's really good. He's 3 points and he has a throw on him. I mean, that's as someone who's regularly used Lizard, having a 3-point model that has a throw, there's just so much utility you can get out of that. And it doesn't cost you an action. I think they've been moving away from that kind of superpower, having a throw that can affect characters. Recently,
That is
like
an attack, yeah.
yeah, in the older models, you see it a lot. And this guy having he's 3 points and you get that, and then he's also super mobile, and he's defensible with that reroll. That reroll is really good. Yeah, I like him. I think he's quite solid.
Yeah, I think he's a good piece. He's a good 3-threat piece. I think he fits into X-Men rosters pretty easily. You can do some jank with him. So when you play first class, if you take Storm Leadership because he's on that bigger base, you can hop forward with the Storm Leadership, do a medium advance and check whatever pick up or check whatever the center objective is, and then also get a move back. So if that's something like scrolls, or if it's something like a cube or spider infected, you can immediately go pick that up and then move back and be into safety. So tricks like that are really good. Again, him being on that medium base with the medium move is really good. I have had a couple instances playing Beast where like I really don't like effects that aren't May unless it's something like there are times for Iron Man, for example, where like the wild I get to put like I hit it and I get to push and I didn't necessarily want it and I don't have anything to backstop him with. Um, Stuff like that kind of sucks. I've had ambush screw me before when I've been playing Beast because I'll whack somebody. I'll really want to like just get a daze because I can stand on a point, and if I let that model live, they're gonna do stuff, and I'll hit it and I'll hit the wild, and I'll have to place myself, and then I won't be able to get back to where I was. I don't just things like that that like make you do it. I feel like I don't care for it as much. Animalistic freestyle, like for I'll see what you guys think. I feel like it could be 3 and it would be fine.
Yeah,
I agree.
think so too.
I think
Yeah,
that like
it's real expensive for that.
with like some of the X-Men releases, specifically with X-Men, like I think Brotherhood is actually like a lot of their stuff is good and I feel like it's well costed, but for whatever reason, like with X-Men, I feel like a lot of their either superpowers or their spenders are like really overcosted. I feel like you start to see it get better with like some of the recent releases because like X-23's is exactly it's like a range 2 6 dice attack that can put out bleed.
Range 3.
It's range 3. It has extra range. It is 6 dice, but it's range 3, which is better. 6 dice. She gets a medium move, and she doesn't get the push, the size 3 push, but she gets wild pierce, and then she's doing bleed, and it only costs 2.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that could easily, because it's
She also doesn't have like free power generation like Beast does.
no, she doesn't.
X-23 heckin' rocks.
But
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying anything negative against her, but like Beast does get extra power when he rolls.
he does because he
Yeah.
gets like a skull. But like
Disconcerting.
but you got like stars and garters, which
But
like
provocative.
you want to like use that power for. I don't know. Like I think that even though he can generate extra power, that would let you do more stars and garters, which I think just makes the character feel more fun to play when you're able to like do more of that kind of stuff. I think just taking one power off Animalistic Freestyle would have been fine. But like I said, I feel like it's just like across the board with the X-Men characters for whatever reason. Like Storm is a perfect example. Like her thing to give her extra dice, that I think it costs like 3. That's too much.
It does cost 3.
I think it should probably only cost 2. But I don't know. But yeah, that's just me. I think I like, but I'm not harping on him. I think he's good. I don't really care for a wild like I have to do something. So wild ambush can put you on a point and let you score a point, or it can screw you out of where you intended your character to be. But I guess if you're really worried about it, you just don't acrobatic strike. But having a throw is good. Stars and garters is excellent. I think if you play him into something like Avengers, which predominantly, or like Brotherhood, which for the most part have more physical attacks than not, you get a lot of value out of Beast being 3 threat, 4 physical, and then also having access to stars and garters. I think one of the first times I played against Beast was actually against Borka, and he ran Beast to the center of the table, and I killed him with crossbones playing illicit tech right off the bat. So yeah, crossbones.
Oh wow.
Best 3 threat
Oh,
character
wow.
in the game.
Oh god.
There we go. Yeah, so we can move
Hot
on.
take.
Hot take. We can move on to character ratings. So why don't we go backwards this time? And what are you gonna give him, Brandon?
How do you go backwards if I just went first last time?
Oh yeah, I should go first.
Jeez.
I'm gonna give him a B minus. Go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead, Fred. I went after Brad.
Oh, you went after. Whatever, dude. You go. Now you go.
Wait, who's you?
I'll go.
Yeah, you go.
I think I'm gonna stick with Jared. I like B minus.
Okay. Now I'm really just gonna fuck it all up. Go ahead, Brad.
See, I was thinking B, so I'm not far from you guys.
All right,
Pretty
Fred.
solid.
Take us home, Fred.
I'm also thinking a B. I think that is right where he is. B for Beast.
There you go. All right,
Alright.
so
2 B's, 2 B minuses. That averages a B.
there you go. Wait, what? Is that real?
B's?
I think that's probably one of the most we've ever agreed on that wasn't like S tier.
Yeah.
You might be right. We should probably. No, there's no way to do that. I was gonna say I should probably just like keep track at some point.
Are we?
We are 30 some episodes in without keeping track.
Yeah, I don't keep track of anything, right?
Are we gonna talk about Beast Tactic cards?
Yeah,
Oh,
we need to.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot that he even had any.
That's because he doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't.
Oh,
okay.
That was a troll.
I was even looking. Oh, god damn it! I was even searching it. I was like, what did I forget?
He said that, and I was like, they don't have any. I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna let this go.
What a troll! All right. Why don't you go ahead with your comic book recommendation, Brad?
Okay. I'm doing something a little different this time. We'll get to that in a minute. But I've got a couple recommendations here. The first thing, I like to pick something classic. So it's a series called Beauty and the Beast. It's by Ann Nesenti and Ron Perlin.
Disney movie.
Ron
came
Perlman
out
in Beauty and the Beast again.
No, not Perlman. Perlin.
you can say whatever you want. We know.
This is not the Disney movie. This is before they were bought by Disney, long before. So this is an 80s story. Dazzler's career, it's kind of crash and burn after she was revealed to be a mutant. I will recommend that story as soon as we have Dazzler in the game. Like, that's number one recommendation. But this is after that. And she ends up joining an underground acting group. That acting group turns out to be a gladiator arena thing. and so she's forced to fight other mutants and whatevers. And Beast comes to save her, and the sparks fly, and you won't believe who is running this gladiator arena and how it gets resolved. It's one of those wild comic book storylines that make you realize that comic books do it like nobody else.
I'm sorry. I gotta bring up, like, is this guy's plan, whoever is running it, is his plan to catch a bunch of theater nerds and make them fight in gladiatorial combat?
No,
That's
he's
what it seemed like you were describing.
that's how they entrap her. He's collecting people with superpowers to make them fight against each other.
Okay,
And this,
I can't get the mental image of a bunch of theater people being thrown into a sandy pit with swords, and they say one of you leaves.
well, it's a sewer pit gladiator thing in LA. So wrong vibes, but I see what you're going with. This is a real like hidden gem. It's a great story that not a lot of people have read. And this, like, if you like Beast from the 90s cartoon, that's who you're getting in this. Like, starting in the 90s, little by little, he compromises on his morals to try to get a greater good done.
Is that your nice way of saying he did some really bad shit?
No, not to start with. To start with, maybe he does a little bad thing. To like giving someone who has the legacy virus over to Sinister to study, because maybe Sinister will figure out how to get rid of the legacy virus, sort of thing.
Okay.
Should he have given a mutant to Sinister to study? No. But he thought that maybe something good would come out of it. So he does little things like that, and then it gets worse and worse. And so I picked a story to kind of highlight that the Beast he is becoming, because he's becoming, like, he's headed now in the comics to full-on villainhood, it seems like. So this story is along the way. It's called X-Men Endangered Species. The writer's Mike Carey. I could not find the penciler for this, so it might have multiple. So let me get past the notes I was just talking about. Okay, so the decimation happened where Scarlet Witch wiped out all but 200 of the mutants. They all lost their powers. A lot of them died. And no new mutants are being born. And Beast is trying to fix this. And he's a man of science. And he starts trying to find a scientific way to solve it. But he gets deeper and deeper down this hole where he is willing to work with anyone, even some of the people who have tried to kill mutants in the past, to try to make sure that new mutants are being born somehow, some way. And in his eyes, the ends are going to justify the means. And it's kind of a question of how dark is he going to go?
Is the answer pretty dark?
I like to give enough to tease people to read it themselves, but there is a clue in there.
You little tease.
In what I just said.
You keep, in these X-Men recommendations, you keep bringing up these events that sound like world, like the decimation where only 200 mutants survive and none of them have their powers anymore. And I'm like, God damn. This world is this universe, this X-Men universe is full of these events that I've never heard of that totally destroy the universe, and there are so many of them.
So, yeah, this was part of the era where they were making those Fox movies and they're popular, but that wasn't really helping them sell comic books, so they were downplaying the X-Men a little bit. And so it had gotten to the point where X-Men had been so popular for so long. There were So many mutants in the world. They had like, you know how New York has like a Chinatown and Little Italy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was a mutant town
Oh.
full of people that were mutants. There were the island nation of Genosha. At this point, had become a island full of mutants, millions of mutants, and they got wiped out earlier. But there were millions and millions of mutants around the world, and they're like, "There's too many mutants. We need to pare it down. Pick your 200 favorites riders, and then we're going to depower everyone else." So they took the castaway down. Not surprisingly, all the people we care about got to keep their powers.
Yep. All right. Well,
It was a dark time. And now I have one more, and
okay.
this is where I'm throwing a wrench in it. I'm going to give you an anti-recommendation.
What the hell's that?
Do not read this story.
Oh, look at that. Okay. All right. I like
The
it.
story is Inhumans versus X-Men. I didn't even bother looking up who wrote it and drew it
I
and
heard
stuff.
that was one of the best.
No. No, this is like the culmination of we need to get like downplay the mutants and do something else. They're pushing Inhumans hard in the comics to basically replace the X-Men, and that did not work. But this is a war between the Inhumans and X-Men, and it's not a good story. And even worse, Beast sides with the fucking Inhumans. The Inhuman, there's like these clouds flying around Earth, and when they hit people, the people with Inhuman blood turn into Inhumans. That's how Miss Marvel got her powers.
Terrigen
I
Mist,
believe.
right?
Yeah, the Terrigen Mist. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Terrigen Mist clouds are in the game. This event is in the fucking game. But when it hit, and if it hit a regular human, they're fine. And if it hit a mutant, it gave them a disease and they died. So when they find this out, the X-Men are upset and they're like, we need to stop these clouds. And they ask the Inhumans for help, and they're like, no, they're making new Inhumans. And so a whole war breaks out. And Beast stays on the Inhuman side.
Why?
And just lets the mutants die.
Why?
He knew his side was going to win.
Well, he does it because he thinks that he can make it so that the clouds still make Inhumans but don't kill mutants. But he doesn't. That doesn't work. They end
Sounds
up
like
destroying the clouds.
Are you doubting Henry McCoy, Brad? Is that
Henry McCoy he will sacrifice his morals as much as he wants, claiming the greater good. But if anyone else does that, he chews them out and says, like, you're turning evil. You're a terrorist now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, don't read that story. It's not good.
Thank you,
It's
Brad.
only 6 issues. You should probably read it.
Oh, it's 6 issues and a bunch of spinoffs.
Just read the 6 issues just to know that Brad will be upset at you. It's great. It looks like the creators were Charles Soule, Jeff Lemire, and a name that I cannot pronounce. Just because they deserve credit too for their well-written 6-episode comic series.
It's not good.
Brad, I
It's
think that your
not good.
anti-recommendation has gotten a new reader.
Brandon's reading it right now. He's buying all of them.
Yeah.
Add to cart.
Oh, and all these stories I double checked are on Marvel Unlimited, per usual.
All right.
Also, Inhumans.
Well, I
X-Men
didn't
is
check.
on. It is. Don't worry.
I didn't check it, but I assumed that it would be.
It is. Don't worry.
All right, Brandon, while you're trolling, why don't you go ahead and give us your roster recommendation?
I think Beast is really good. Web Warriors.
That's fair.
That's my
That sounds good.
recommendation. Play him with Miles, Gwen, Venom, all them web swinging fellers, and put his medium base out there at 3 points. It helps your point total, and he does things Web Warriors like to do.
All right. Thank you very much. Short and sweet. Fred, wrap us up
Yeah.
with your non sequitur.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring something that has been a long time coming, and that is that I'm going to let everyone who's listening know that I am a huge Star Trek nerd. Uh, I have
What?
been
You're a
for my
nerd?
entire life, and when I think about Beast, I think about a logical badass. I think about someone who is uh, thinks that reason and logic are the best path towards living their life. And I think that that is 100% Spock in Star Trek.
There you go.
Absolutely. I can't like they go together so well in my head. Now, I don't know Beast all that well, so I could be completely wrong about that, Brad. But that just on the surface, that's what it seems like to me. And so I'm going to recommend the new show Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It is definitely the best of new Trek. The new Trek stuff, this is the best one. Strange New Worlds. Go watch it. It's Captain Pike. It has Anson Mount, who played Black Bolt in the
That's
Inhumans
true.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Look at you, double tie-in.
So Anson Mount, he is a fantastic Captain Pike. And that is my recommendation.
So Fred has no way of knowing this, but Star Trek and X-Men have a crossover.
Really?
Yeah, they cross over with the original crew in a comic book, and then the Next Generation in a book. And the
Okay.
comic book does a joke where someone walks in on the X-Men and Star Trek guys working together and says Dr. McCoy, and both Dr. McCoys look up.
Fred, can I ask you a question about old school like Star Trek lore?
Yeah.
Who was it that shot first? Was it Han or was it Jango Fett?
It was 100% Han who shot first.
Okay.
I'm not going into this troll because that's the answer.
So I have a question too. Would Spock have sided with the Inhumans?
I don't think he would have.
I don't think he would have either. I think he would have sided with the mutants because the
They were
needs of
dying.
yeah.
So
There's
it's
a
safe to
better
say
way.
that Spock is actually the better beast.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Brad, how does it make you feel that I have only read the comics that you give to me, but in my house, like I have the volume 7 that you've given me, and then
Uh-huh.
but I own like 6 issues of Inhumans comics.
Ugh.
Shit.
Why?
I just when they released an MCP, I was like, I'm gonna check these guys out, so I bought like 6 issues.
It
Have
would have
you
been so
read
much
them?
cooler if it was
No, I
Inhumans
actually
versus
haven't even.
X-Men.
I still haven't even read them yet. Like they're just sitting over there. So.
I was gonna ask if you liked them because I had a feeling the answer was no.
All right. Well, that wraps us up for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are not subscribed to the channel, if you're a listener on YouTube, make sure you give us a sub. That would help us out a little bit. And thank you, Tim, for the suggestion again this week for Beast. We probably will, unfortunately, do Human Torch next week. I don't have a reason why I don't want to do the guy. I just don't want to do. But
Unless Blob
unless
and the
yeah,
We get
Blob
Pyro.
Blob
and
and Pyro
Pyro
first,
come
or do
out.
we get? Is it possible we get that one first, or is it possible we get Wolverine and Sabretooth first?
Oh shit! Take your bets.
Oh, good point.
I'm gonna say Wolverine
I
Sabretooth
don't know
because
when. I don't know when the Wolverine set releases.
yeah. Oh yeah, they don't have like we actually know the Blob and Pyro date, right?
They already
It's
released. They did
somewhere
the
in
same thing
December.
They did the same thing for Wolverine and them like last week.
I mean, they showed Dormammu's card and like his model like way before he released, right?
Yeah, but they posted like a tweet of when they did the same exact thing they did for Blob Pyro last on the 26th.
Oh.
I don't know how you guys are missing stuff. I'm the only one paying attention, apparently.
I guess that's why we
I
have you,
should
man.
have known that search
Your
wasn't
atten-
gonna do it.
your attention to detail is why we love you so much.
I thought we talked about it because everyone was upset that it wasn't the cards. It was just like the shop link, and now the website's not loading, so I can't actually give you the information that I wanted to.
Well, either way, thank you guys at home so much for joining us. Yeah, I guess we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.